Oh shit. What is up, everybody? How is it going? Welcome back to the Pride Cup 2021, round 4 of group stage action. Been a fun set of games so far. I'm joined once again by TerranLord, who has been trip-sitting me here for most of the day. How's it going?
Yeah, it's good. And it's a bit of a different game. I think two teams we haven't gotten the chances to see at all, and I'm really excited to see them because it's a bit of a mismatch in terms of on paper. So I'm interested to see why each team kind of has started the day the way they have.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of see exactly what she's saying. Like, why is Aitch near the top, and why is Crazy Milkyjellyshakes near the bottom? So let's take a look at the groups to remind ourselves where these two teams fit in. So if we take a look at the groups, there we go. It is Group B action here. Once again, we're kind of alternating between two groups. 4E at the top. And here's Aitch in second place, one of our teams. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom there, you'll see Crazy Milkyjellyshakes in 5th position. So Aitch's record right now is 2-0, only having played 2 matches. And Crazy Milkyjellyshakes have a record of 0-2, having lost, obviously, both of their matches, having only played 2 matches as well. So the permutations here are, if Crazy Milkyjellyshakes loses, they're relying on 5 Roses Rooibos to also lose. And then it comes down to map differential. And I think even then, 5 Roses Rooibos is in a pretty good position. So, yeah. Actually, no. If Crazy Milkyjellyshakes loses, then they're out because they'll be 0-3. No, then they could win the last game. Look, it's all very complicated. The bottom line is Crazy Milkyjellyshakes need to win this game, and it's going to be tough against Aitch, who are 2-0.
Definitely, and I think even you look at them winning the next 2 games, potentially they're only looking at maybe you get into the lower brackets. So yeah, it's been a tough start, and that's why I think sometimes you want to be trying to start like your run as best as possible. At the same time, maybe the games have gone, like there's 1 or 2 things that they need to fix, in terms of a team, and in terms of synergy. Now that they're starting to build that synergy a bit more, so maybe we see a bit of an upset coming out here.
Yeah, it definitely could happen. So let's take a look at the squads and see if we can't start to piece together why these two teams are where they are. So we'll start with Aitch here and see exactly who we're working with. As you can see, it's Stalker and Brokefolly. Of course, Stalker formerly of 2CP, and then Enigma, quite a well-known main tank, who is back in the mix here. Brokefolly played support for Risen, I want to say. I don't know. She played for somebody. Yes, I was right. Yes, excellent. But generally known as a support player, but here on the off tank, Lime Oros and Assassin JDB. Lime Oros was on Calypso or something. I think he's on Team Gaming now.
He's on Risen. He was on Risen.
He was on Risen as well. Okay, makes sense. Is he on Team Gaming now, or is he not playing for anybody?
I think he might be Team Gaming. I'm not 100% sure. Okay.
And then Assassin JDB, of course, formerly of Odyssey. I think he's not playing for anyone either now. No. Yeah. Scorpio Yami, aka Yami maybe. I believe who is streaming, or at least was streaming earlier. So if you guys want to go check out her perspective, or their perspective, sorry, you can go and do that on Yami maybe. YAMIMAIBE on Twitch. So you can go there and check that out. And then you've got Pew's Sniper, who is Keo, I believe, who is a player I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, no, same here, and I think definitely the biggest question mark in this team. But other than that, you can kind of start to see why this team has been doing as well as they have. You've got Stalker, one of the best main tanks in South Africa, obviously now moved on to more like playing for EU teams. And then the DPS lineup of Limeros and Assassin, both really strong DPS, contending with a lot of these DPS lineups. Brokefolly, off tanker, maybe not really that well known, no more that support role. And then Yami maybe also hasn't been in the scene for a very long time. I think probably the last team she was on was Odyssey before they even became Rage, because then it was still EGSA Odyssey.
Yeah.
So they're coming kind of back into the scene. So it's very interesting to see, and I think a lot of it's going to come down to how well can Stalker create that space for these two DPS who have shown many a time on stream just what they're capable of.
Yeah, well, the results paint a pretty picture for this team, obviously 2-0 so far. But let's take a look at their opponents here. Milkyjellyshakes, named of course after their DPS player, probably the most well-known player on this team by quite some margin. Of course, JellyDoodle, the DPS player for Enigma. And then you've got the tanks, Obsidian Fury and Geordie Steel. I know Obsidian Fury used to play for teams a while ago, not sure who he's with now. Geordie Steel, I think, is also on a team. Crazy is on Rex Legion, I believe. And Kay is not on a team, I believe. She was on briefly.
Yeah, I believe she's going to be joining Hellhounds, which is the new team. Same that team that Obsidian Fury and Milky are on right now.
Okay, so quite a bit of synergy there, at least once they start playing together. And then, as you mentioned, then Milky will be bringing that second support.
Yeah, I think overall it's a relatively newish team in terms of, like, you obviously look at Joy, also coming in from Team Inferno, very recent pickup. Crazy as well, another player on Inferno, very new to the kind of competitive scene. And Obsidian Fury been around for a long time. I mean, he's actually been around the South African scene longer than I have, so he's gotten a lot of experience. Hasn't really been in teams as much more. You look at Belfurians as a team he's primarily been in, who haven't really participated. Then there's Milky, another one of those news, whereas JellyDoodle, as you pointed out, is probably the star player in this team. I mean, the team's kind of named after him, and we know him as one of the strongest hit scans. You can recall like the past couple games of Enigmas, where he just hit some like disgusting shots on like Tree, on the Widow, on even like Soul. I've never seen like someone like in ZA Overwatch track as well as he has on Soldier. Like I remember a clip of him where it basically looked like he was aimbotting.
There's a couple of players like that. 20 also stands out on the Sombra we saw him play the other day, where it's kind of like, wow, that's crazy. And I guess this team is kind of named after 3 different players, so really a lot of punching power when it comes to the names. But our first map here will obviously be Lijiang Tower. Now we're pretty comfortable with this map at this point, our 4th time seeing it first here on the day. A lot of this will depend, I think, on what we come down to for our first map of Lijiang Tower. We'll have to wait and see. But obviously these two teams have had different journeys up to this point, and Milkyjellyshakes have to win this one to even just stay in the tournament,
Yeah, that's a very important one. ESA is... Oh, are we on the scrum code?
Yeah. Taking it back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think we're scrimming here. There's a little more at stake there. But one thing I will have to note, with regarding Crazy Milkyjellyshakes, is Crazy is someone who definitely prefers the firearm. We saw it. I don't think it's fair to him to say he's a one trick. But he definitely prefers the hero over others. I can remember coaching him, whenever there was a comment like, "Can I play fire?" kind of thing. But he is willing to flex onto those other heroes. So I'm not 100% sure if we are going to see him stick to that, or if he's going to kind of flex onto those things that the team needs.
Yeah. Well, we've seen a lot of success with the Farah today. Obviously, we saw Skarzz do very well on Volsky, as you mentioned. And then also earlier in the day when we were watching the first series, who was it there? I can't actually remember now who was playing the Farah. Oh, it was Neeks. Neeks doing very well on that hero. So if you're not comfortable with your DPS plays, and who knows how, well, I mean, they've got Assassin and he's pretty strong on the hit scan, so they're probably okay with shutting down that, what's the name? Oh, and Crazy, Geordie's telling me that he and Crazy are on Inferno.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I associate you with them. It's not Re-Ace, it's the other team you coach.
Yes. Yeah. It's a bit of a different, but fun coaching all around.
Yeah. So we have now finally loaded into a proper lobby here. We'll be guarding up first. Now, obviously, you mentioned Crazy. I actually just remembered we watched Inferno take on somebody, and he was a stand-up performer.
Yeah, it was, I think, against Team Gaming. Was the first game. I think first game Inferno played, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right. I think it was their first game. And yeah, no, he was a stand-up performer on that Pharaoh. So he will be reprising that role here, and I think it makes a ton of sense on this map type. But Assassin will try and match him with a Pharaoh of his own. Difference maker will be Lime Oros versus JellyDoodle, and anytime I'm putting money on his scans, I'm more likely to put my money on JellyDoodle than anyone else.
Yeah, and I think like Assassin also is another one of those players that we have seen on the Pharaoh, like during the Odyssey days. We can recall a couple series where he put in so much work on that Pharaoh and basically like an MVP level performance.
Yes, he's put in many MVP level performances in his time playing for the local South African teams. We'll have to see if he can put in another one here. Presumably, they've been struggling. I think the names at the top are wrong, right? Because Crazy and Milky and Crazy Milkyjellyshakes. But Assassin comes around the back here. He's tracked him down. A little bit of an awkward position for the opposing pharmacy now, and this is a pretty good spot for him. Just be careful not to run out of boost at just the wrong moment. But on the front line, Crazy Milkyjellyshakes are taking control here. Crazy gonna drop down, just get cover behind that. JellyDoodle's like up close and personal here as the pharmacy gets onto point, but it's just the two of them, I believe. So if they can just get these kills, they should be okay to cap this point first. How is that Mercy still alive? And just get back here, still on Assassin. Eventually, maybe goes down. Assassin with a super quick rocket barrage doesn't help him secure any kills. Drops low instead and is taken down. As Crazy just kind of backs off here. Bro gets the kill onto JellyDoodle, so we might see a super quick recap here from Aitch, of course. Favored coming into this, but struggling a bit in this first team fight, but seeming to find a rhythm now. Just need to clean up this pharmacy if they can, but again, it's a pharmacy on point. Just out of watching here, boys. Milky does get taken down. That pretty much exposes Crazy on. He will follow very shortly after, and finally things seem to have settled down a little bit.
Yeah, it's really interesting like to kind of see these team comps with them as the fight goes on, but it seems like this is going to be pretty secured for Aitch. But seeing a dive versus a brawl with the Pharaoh, you genuinely favor the dive. Assassin putting in so much work so far.
Yeah, so for those of you in court on TAC is Assassin here. He's playing under an alt account because he likes to make our life as casters very difficult. But he's been a nightmare in this match so far. Him and Miami maybe have been doing such a good job of pumping in damage from over the top.
Definitely, and you expect that actually maybe Assassin gets less value because he has to deal with that hit scan of JellyDoodle, but so far Jelly been struggling to find that edge.
Finally comes out. Oh, okay. Just patient play. Yami pops up and he gets taken down. Nice work from him. I'm Oros with the attack fires. We're gonna pump that in now. Lots of kills here coming out of the blue team as Lime pulls back here, looking for an angle to put some damage down. Finds it now as the rocket barrage comes over the top from Assassin. No damage, or no kill, sorry, but a lot of damage. Eventually tracks down and gets Obsidian Fury and sets Stalker up for a kill on JellyDoodle. So far so good for Aitch.
Definitely, and we're seeing, I think, Limeros on the Soldier also putting in a lot of work, not necessarily getting any picks in the kill feed, but making it a lot easier for Assassin to get that value, putting pressure on Jelly, not leaving him on full HP, where 225 HP, especially for a Pharaoh, can sometimes be very difficult to chew through.
Yeah, absolutely can. As Assassin now will get a bit more aggressive. Stalker's tracked down JellyDoodle. Let's to carry out of the fight now. Could be a big problem for Crazy Jelly Milkshakes. I need to get back aggressive in here. Oh no, this is not where you want to be if you're KK. In a room with a nano boosted Pharaoh with a Mercy on the back. This is double damage boost, or at least was for a moment there. And Assassin will pop his ulti, or sorry, no, the Graviton Surge will come out. Not going to find anything, a big shadow, but not enough follow up there to clean up. He didn't have enough HP to follow up on his own shadow. So unfortunately for him, we'll go down and Aitch will secure this first map, or this first part of Lijiang.
Also, like a lot of what we've been seeing once Aitch got control of that point is every time that Crazy Milkyjellyshakes try to get through, they just get called off by Stalker diving at them while Assassin spamming in, and it's making it incredibly difficult for them to get through unscathed. A lot of the time, one of their players goes down, and if they don't, they get put so low HP that they can't really take the final point. And then you got Obsidian Fury on the Reinhardt kind of sitting there like, what can I do? I'm losing my team behind me, and I don't have but speed boost to try and engage onto their team.
Yeah, kind of leaves you in a bit of an awkward spot here. Control Center will be our next map though, and it will be just a Junkrat here coming out of Lime Oros. They've got the Lucio. I wonder how big of a difference that's going to make when the opposing team isn't running a Lucio. Going to allow the damage to pump out. Oh no, okay, sorry. Let's switch now onto the Lucio. Pumping the damage in here is Lime Oros. He could be the key here, and immediately it takes down she takes down Milky there on the Lucio. So I was right, they don't have a Lucio. Stalker dropping low here, half HP, needs to be healed up by a squad, and now can get aggressive with the Immortality Field at his back. Will take down Crazy, who has moved on to the Soldier now. So once again, Aitch taking control of proceedings so far. We'll get aggressive now and see what they can get out of this as Pews takes down JellyDoodle. So yeah, Aitch really seem to have a better rhythm on at the moment.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think some of it partially comes down to the comp difference. Like Shadow from Stalker, but follow from Obsidian Fury.
Nice work from him. He does get the kill on the Stalker. He's dropped super low, and he's going to play like he's got massive healing at his back, but unfortunately does end up going down. So that kill on Stalker unlikely to make a big difference.
Yeah, no, definitely the trade you see if maybe Obsidian Fury stays alive. They have a re-engage before Stalker gets back, but Stalker should be back in time. They don't get control of Choke, but they still have this Junkrat, the tire coming up very shortly.
That's true. It is significant losing control. That Choke though, but Lime comes around from the side, gets that pick, or Assassin gets the pick onto Crazy Soldier as well. Now can move forward with the rest of his team, and so far Aitch putting on a clinic here on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, so far like the most one-sided series we have seen. I would like to see maybe a bit of a stopper from the Soldier. I feel like it's not really getting as much value as the Junkrat. Yes, he's building the ult like quite fast, but it's not really making a dent into what Aitch is doing.
No, it is not. Bob comes out now from Jelly, stand up and taken down. This could be big though, waiting patiently, gonna get right on top of them, and that is a 4K. Lime Oros hitting pay dirt and cleaning up Crazy Milkshakes.
And I mean, it's not the worst fight. You look at, yes, you invest the Bob, but on the other side, it is the tie and beat two ults very difficult to deal with. You do have your own grab, and no beat to counteract that can be very difficult.
Struck goes in, big shatter, nice work. Obsidian Fury taken down straight away, and the Stalker exerting himself on the match at the moment as now moves back towards point. Crazy did manage to get himself onto that point, buys team little space with the attack visor, but it's unlikely to keep him alive. Lime Oros will end his aggress there, and unfortunately Crazy Milkyjellyshakes won't be able to get back in, and Aitch will secure a fairly dominant victory on Lijiang Tower.
Aside from that first fight, nothing really like scathing Aitch. They look confident in every single fight. I mean, Lime Oros, massive tire, guaranteed that any momentum that Crazy Milkyjellyshakes wanted to build with this Bob was just nullified. They couldn't push in. If they did that, they just die. And in the meantime, the Bob goes down as well, so Stalker can just shield that up, and the rest of the team can kill it.
Very well played from Aitch. Pew's sniper. I keep wanting to say pure sniper and then also something else, which I can't say. So I know you hear me say that person's name very often, but really well played from Aitch. Our next map here will of course once again be Eichenwalde, and no reason to expect that Aitch will have any more difficulty on that map than they did on this one, but it does open things up a little bit more for Crazy's Far, as you mentioned before.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a map that, Eichenwalde always known for the Pharah, no matter what meta we've been in, even when Echo's been strong. We've seen a lot of teams run that Pharah, and we might see that mirror again, the Pharah versus Pharah. And so far, just the way that Aitch were playing, they're kind of approaching it, not really giving Jelly that space to put pressure on Assassin, meant that Assassin was just getting infinite value, while Crazy, I don't think he really was put under that much pressure, but when your team is just losing on the front line, there's not only so much you can do as a Pharah. I mean, you look at what Assassin and Yummy did on point, somehow they managed to survive for so long, But even while surviving, they weren't exactly getting kills. They were more just stalling out the points for their team to get back.
Yeah, kind of not really getting that much value. And it feels like a bit of a tempo mismatch here, right? Where the game is kind of being controlled by Aitch at the moment, and Obsidian are playing a little bit more. Sorry, not Obsidian. Crazy. The only player whose name is not in the name of the team is struggling to actually, exert themselves and control the tempo. So I like to see them turn up the wick just a little bit, get a tiny bit more aggressive, and try and make something happen. Because Stalker's playing crazy aggressive at the moment.
Yeah, no, Stalker's kind of getting away with what he wants to do. And that's never a situation you want to be in. Stalker has always been known for highly aggressive plays, going into the backline as Winston, as Reinhardt. And if he's allowed to do that while the rest of his team kind of backs him up, and that's something that I think is also very important. It's not like Stalker's going alone. His team is helping him when he goes. Like, you look at that shatter on Control Center. It was a bit of a ballsy one. You're going around the corner, and he did end up dying for it. But they were able to put enough damage in so that they could get the trade on Obsidian Fury, so it was about even at the end of the day. And then, as we've seen so far in the even fights, Aitch have just looked a lot better.
Yeah, I think that a lot of crazy Milkyjellyshakes says punching power comes from JellyDoodle, and he has to do a lot of work in his team fights to get him done. But now that Crazy is on his trusty Pharah, he might be able to exert himself a little bit more on this. But he's up against Assassin JDB, who is no slouch in that regard. Obsidian Fury dropping low, anti-healed up, taken down by Stalker. The pounce catches the opposing main tank, and that's going to force Crazy team back to spawn.
I think to an extent maybe this team name is harder than the ease.
I didn't expect it, but this is the team I'm struggling the most with.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think again, Obsidian Fury just it feels like he can't do much because he's just sit there lurking without that speed boost on a map where he wants to get in their face, and he's just not allowed to.
Does feel like without that speed boost he's a bit nerfed here. Stalker getting good now. I mean, he's running away from the Winston, and Assassin over the top gets a double kill, make it a triple now as Jordy has his life ripped from this world. Oh, nice direct there onto Crazy, but Crazy struggling to kind of match Assassin's pace here, and I think it is down to the main tanks here. Nothing against Obsidian, but the Winston is able to get aggressive in the way that the Rhino just can't with the composition they're running.
Yeah, a lot of the time when you're seeing Stalkers on the defense as the Winston being more aggressive than this Reinhardt. If you a lot of the time is just sitting there with his shield up, maybe swinging when Stalker gets close, but other than that, like Stalker diving the backline or Assassin going in, and Obsidian Fury just not really allowed to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, and the alt charge tells the whole story here. I like this flank though. Crazy's corner on the back. We're trying to put pressure on the backline. High line. Okay. Lime had two people headshotted there potentially, but instead went for Crazy. But that's an important pick. That opens space up for Crazy to do some work. Assassin drops low here, won't be taken down though. Has the barrage at the ready. He's gonna take the trade. Nice work from Assassin. Gets Crazy down, and that opens up his game quite a lot. Gonna follow up on JellyDoodle as well. So now he's got nothing to fear. Was that a Valkyrie as well? Yeah. Yummy maybe pops the Valkyrie towards the end of that. So no value coming out of that.
Yeah, and I mean, eventually we're seeing the shadow coming from Obsidian Fury. The Sigma, I think getting a low fade, but that pick onto Limeros should open things up.
Yeah, very nice work. Is the res, but Crazy now picks up one. Gets punched out of the sky by the opposing Pharah once again, and that is a nano boosted rocket barrage. Turn on the sprinkler and send the pink team right on back to spawn.
No, with the Bob actually putting in a lot of work from JellyDoodle. Jelly somehow getting away with minimal HP, not sure how he's currently alive. But this should allow for...
Okay, he's here trying to spawn.
Yeah, and this should allow for a nice re-engage for Crazy Milkyjellyshakes.
Yeah, JD has to be the standout here. Nice work from Crazy. Gets Limeros, gets Yummy straight after that, and now can look to get aggressive. He needs to be careful not to run afoul of Assassin JDB, but will not do so, and we'll just keep them back. Oh, someone's coming in here. Stalker has decided to commit. Does he have a Primal Rage at the ready? He does not, so we'll end up paying with his life. Broke also chucks in the ulti, tries to go for the remake kill, I think, but not going to find it. Assassin did drop, did get the resurrected, so even fight here, but with Broke low, with Stalker out, they're just going to have to back up and regroup.
Yeah, now like something which you've been saying, like, is such a key over the last couple of games is how important this high ground is, and I would really like to see at the start of this fight that crazy Milkyjellyshakes try and take advantage of the picks that they've gotten.
Yeah, I would like to see them move up there, but it seems like they're content just to stand in point. Jordy is on the Sigma now, so Gravitic Flux at the ready, should they choose to commit it, but it's kind of an awkward... You're not going to get many with the spell into this composition, so I might want to just wait for Stalker to come in. Here he comes and pop it down, but it's an nano-boosted Stalker now with a Primal Rage, and immediately Jordy drops, but kills coming in the direction of Crazy at least, but not enough, I don't think, to pull this one back. Jelly, is that another Bob thrown out? I think it is, and unfortunately for him, it won't be enough to win them this team. But I'm sorry, I'm having flashbacks to watching Stalker jump.
Yeah, no, like for a second I thought he was going off here and trying to primal the fire, but he caught himself this time, and there's no mini tag to follow him, so I think he probably thought, I don't have my comrade in arms, I can't do him dirty like that.
Not even an echo in the game. So probably better not to just die by yourself by jumping off the map. He's holding a point here, now gonna get aggressive. This could be a barrage. It is. Gets one with the left click, gets one with the barrage. Crazy will get that return kick pretty swiftly, but unfortunately they've already lost 2 players. So Broke just gonna make sure there's no shenanigans afoot there on the left hand side, and otherwise I think Aitch still in firm control here, especially as Limehouse tracks down Crazy and gets rid of that pesky Pharaoh.
And again, we're just seeing how powerful this high ground control has been. I mean, Limehouse and Pure Sniper have been on there like basically the entire time. Not really, challenged, and maybe going down to Fire Strike though. It's a good start.
That is a weird one. No res obviously forthcoming for the Mercy, and now Crazy's gonna get aggressive. Oh my goodness, where even is Assassin? There he is, tracks down Crazy, gets rid of him, so no Farah left. That Mercy going down, not so much of a problem. Jordy's like, please shoot me here in the sky. Lime with the attack visor will take full advantage of that. Picks up 3, gonna go for 4 here, stolen by Brokefolly. But Aitch, once again, with a super dominant performance.
Yeah, they just seem in firm control. They're setting the tempo of these fights time and time again. It's always Stalker with that engage, Assassin with that pick, Limehouse with putting a ton of damage in that backline. Jelly, once again, someone we've looked at so often, just hasn't been afforded the space he needs.
And I mean, this man right here, this is part of the problem for crazy Milkyjellyshakes, is that Assassin is just uncontested in the sky. It's not an issue of hit scan prowess. We know Jelly can do it. It's just that he hasn't had the space to work with Stalker being so aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, the only times we've really seen Jelly be effective was that initial bob on first point that kind of opened it up for them. And, that's not even him per se, it's his bob. Shooting, and the Bob had more space to shoot throughout that game than it felt like Jelly did. And big credit to Stalker for that. Like every time he dived in, he made sure that Jelly didn't have that free space to work with. Wasn't even getting that flashbang on Stalker, so Stalker would die. Yeah,
exactly. No, Stalker with some real controlled aggression for the most part, not overcommitting too often, and Broke, of course, doing a good job of making sure the Winston doesn't get taken out here. What are we looking for, Peach, off the side of the map? He's looking for some Easter eggs here, but unfortunately none in that part of Eichenwalde. Compositionally here, we have some sense of what Aitch wants to do, and it is literally identical to what they ended the last map with.
Yeah, and I think you're starting off from the side of Crazy JD Milkyshakes, potentially this Bastion, but I do prefer them going on more of the static comp if they're going to play around Crazy, especially. I mean, if we look to see them running the Fire later on, I feel like they're trying to play like kind of 2 comps at the same time, and it's like trying to get best of both worlds, but losing out in that war with it, just the Winston getting so much more value. It's interesting to see how well this tall Bastion is going to work out.
kind of a Hail Mary composition where you're kind of out of ideas and you just cheese it and see how far you can get with it. They are running the double shield, so a lot of protection here, but they can get ripped apart by a crossfire setup from Lime, Oros, and the rest of the boys. So gonna be tough here, especially with Assassin at this angle. They can just sit and punch through the shields and put the pressure on. Stalker can sort of get set up underneath them or come and dive on top of them once the shields pop. But Crazy does find Assassin and take him down, but the trade is there, and you'll take that trade any day of the week, especially when the resurrection is forthcoming. So Aitch here in firm control. The Bastion Gambit has not worked out for Crazy Milkyjellyshakes, and they're going to struggle to get set up once again. Crazy did get raised, but will get taken down once again. You kind of need a full complement to make that composition work, and Assassin, uncontested in the sky, is going to force them down.
Yeah, and then even though Assassin does go down there, he put in a lot of damage, and with that dive coordination with Stalker and Brokefolly meant that Crazy ends up going down. Then you mentioned the res came out for Crazy, but by that point it was basically already lost from the size of Crazy Milkyjellyshakes. Whereas Assassin res back up, they full 6. He's uncontested now because the Bastion just isn't there.
Yeah. No, absolutely, and he can just rain damage in at his convenience here. Crazy has dropped once again. Assassin just a nightmare to deal with in the sky. He does get raised, but dropped once again. Milky's like, no, I'm done with this game. Hops off the map in protest. Unfortunately, her team kind of needed her to be alive, and we can see where the blue box of victory is here. Not long to go, and with Assassin set up here, this could be a disaster.
Crazy swapping onto the Reaper. It's going to be very difficult against this Fire Soldier, especially on second point Icon trying to get there. Jordy does go into the ball to touch, same with South on that Winston, so it's going to be doesn't even get it.
Oh wow, the softest ending to a game of Overwatch I've seen in a long time. They kind of just force their way through, so really dominant performance once again from Aitch. They will set themselves up with a 2-0 lead, but not only that, they're setting themselves as the team to beat here in Group B.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it seems completely one side. Like these, it seems like the kind of games where, like with the RMG, with how that worked out, where you got your likes of your Beastie Boys, Rambuck Fire Department, Enigma against more a team like Inferno or Legion, where it just seems like so one-sided, and it's not something that you normally see in these kind of tournaments.
No, and it's hard to figure out why as well. Because obviously, I mean, SR is not everything, but these teams are balanced SR-wise. But you look at the relative experience competitively here, there is quite a big gulf between the two teams. You've got Broke, Stalker, Assassin, Lime on one team, and then it's really only Obsidian, Fury, Jelly, and KK to an extent with much experience. The rest of them are all quite new to playing competitively. So Jelly, it's up to Jelly to kind of rally the troops as the sort of experienced head, but it's tough when you got a lot of new players like that.
Yeah, I think like a big difference. I mean, when you look at someone like Stalker versus Jelly, like you pick out there's probably the highest SR players in each team. Stalker is someone very vocal, someone who's going to take control. Whereas Jelly, not really that kind of person. So maybe that might also be a big difference. Is your shot caller, someone like Stalker, can make such a big difference because you're not going to shut him up. Stalker is not going to shut up at all.
Yeah.
And then with Jelly, it's like you kind of laugh when he says something, and most of the time when it is something, it's some kind of like F you kind of thing. So I think that could also be another big difference that we're seeing.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
There's a lot of direction from Aitch. They know exactly what they want to do, whereas on the side of Crazy Milkyjellyshakes, it feels a bit disjointed.
Yeah. I think that's a very, very good point to bring up there, Terran. As you say, also just in general, leading from the main tank role is a lot more valuable usually than leading from the DPS role. Stalker can kind of make decisions and play accordingly, whereas Jelly would have to kind of designate tasks and say main tank do this, off tank do this, and it's kind of awkward for you to lead from that role, on top of the fact that he's not the most assertive Overwatch player that there is. He's very talented, but he plays on a team that used to have Stalker on it, but it's got Fluffy on it, it's got Tocs on it, and it's got Blur on it. right? All three extremely outspoken players in game, and it kind of means Jelly never has to stay. It would be a problem if Jelly was then also very outspoken.
Yeah.
So that kind of has affected his play here, and I'd be interested to hear kind of what it sounds like inside their comms. But whatever it is, it's not working for them here. But that kind of happens sometimes in Pride Cup, and I think they're learning a lot from each other either way.
Yeah, no, definitely. We are going to see them change up the comp. I would definitely like to see this dive, see if they can get something different going here.
It is tough though into Stalker, right? You know this dude is clean on his dive, and Broke has been working really well with him to execute properly. But now they can aggressive. Broke dropping low here. If they can take her down, that might be a great start to this team fight. Won't succeed in doing so. Instead, will lose K on the back line. But there we go. Obsidian 1-2 on both. Assassin and Lime Aura, so now they can force their way forward. Jelly is dropping low here, but will heal up very effectively with the Hellfire shotguns. Now can get onto the Reaper. Oh, payload is stuck at home. They forgot to take the brakes off the payload, and now they will have to go. So they have managed to win this team fight, but will gain very little from it, unfortunately.
Yeah, at least I think something to take forward for them is they're starting to set the tempo a bit more with this dive. Obsidian Fury, he's no longer just sitting there as that Reinhardt, as there is. He is taking the fight to Stalker, and I mean you can see it with the ult charge already. Obsidian Fury building that primal even faster than Stalker is, despite the fact that the Assassin putting a lot of work in that fight.
Yeah, no, very much so. But Jelly being a difference maker here on the Reaper. Here I know he quite likes to play as a part of Enigma, so able to exert himself a little bit more and punish the problem child. And it's that guy right there, Stalker. Takes him out, but this guy, he's the problem adult that they have to deal with right now. Assassin from the sky, the Rocket Barrage, one team fight built up, then Nano Boost over the top as well, and the Diva Stagger to boot. Now you gotta go off the map, off the map, off the map!
No, that's just the one thing, like, why I think this is also such a good team. You're forcing teams, okay, now you've got Jelly on this Reaper. It's going to punish Stalker, 100%. Stalker's not going to have as much fun with his lives, but now Assassin's basically free. So it's like, which one do you choose? Do you choose trying to counter Pharah or the Winston? So far, countering the Winston has worked better, but we have to wait and see how it progresses.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, they did blow quite... Oh my god, he's got Rocket Barrage again. Okay, never mind. The point I was about to make is moot now, as Assassin JDB is ready to throw the Sprinkler out here. Die on point. No, thank you. Get out of here. Oh, that is a self-destruct. Pixel 2. Jordy gets a nice double there. That's going to help his team push forward. Might just have done enough here, as long as they don't get the sleep. Oh, there's a Mercy heal on this. This is not a kill you can get, Obsidian Fury, but it's good to put the pressure on. The healers are healing each other, which opens space for his team, but Crazy has dropped now. Stalker is back into the fray. Sniper as well, gonna get rid of Obsidian. So Aitch have managed to recontest here, but signs of life from Crazy, CMJS.
Yeah, definitely. It's looking a lot better, a lot more competitive. These fights aren't just completely one-sided. Yes, Aitch still in control, but at least we're seeing them get these few picks. It's forcing Aitch maybe to question what do we need to do to win these fights. Force them to actually make these really good plays just to win fights.
Yeah, no, very, very much so. Although they, as you were saying though, you got to deal with this man right here, right? Or you have to deal with Stalker, but you have to deal with both at once, because otherwise the other is going to be a problem. They get rid of Broke. That's a good start. Allows the DPS to do a ton more damage. Coalescence will get rid of the baby as well, prevent any remix shenanigans here. Okay, just gonna keep the team healthy. Lime though finds the angle on the top, and she will get rid of Obsidian Fury. JD goes down as well, and it's not looking good here on the first point. Aitch will take control of things. Who's that? The Tracer, a monstrous flick there to get that kill. Not quite managing, but it doesn't actually matter at this stage. Oh my god, this Tracer is a nightmare to deal with on the point here, flipping all around, and eventually will get taken down by Brokefolly. Sniper will take down Obsidian as well, so the stall is pretty good here. Tack immediately knows who his target is, gets rid of Jelly, and that just keeps the free reign that he has in the sky very healthy, as Lucio on the point here, putting the pressure on, eventually taken down courtesy of Lime Oros, and that's pretty much going to be it. Just Stalker, you know what the target is, deal with the problem at the source, and he gets the JellyDoodle. Assassin now, free reign in the sky once again, and that will be that for round one.
And even though we saw signs of life from Crazy Milkyjellyshakes, their first fight looked really, really strong. But then they, as you said, like they didn't really gain the advantage in terms of payload push because no one was on payload while everything was happening. And then because of that, Aitch had a lot of time to reconsider, okay, how are we going to approach this recontest? They did, and then from there, as the fights grew on, they got even more comfortable. Yes, you saw Brokefolly go down, but even then, there was still the High Noon, there was still the Primal Rage, the Barrage, and they always had a plan in mind, even when things weren't exactly going there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're going to see now, this is a tough defense for Crazy Milkyjellyshakes, harder even than Iconvold, where they're at least, well, I suppose they're attack second, so it's not quite the same. But yeah, they're going to have to do a fuller hold here on first point, and the way things have been going, Aitch is looking pretty confident. Lime has switched onto her most iconic hero, I would say. The Genji is what we think of when we think of Lime Oros, and Assassin as well on the Tracer. I would say his most iconic hero, although we've seen him dominate so effectively on the Pharah today.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that they're not going with the Pharah, but I think they're playing off this Tracer Genji kind of OG dive. We need to win basically one fight and then it's over. You got that Nano Blade, got a lot of pick potential from this Tracer and Genji.
Yeah, and I think you're just playing their comfort heroes as well. They're feeling super confident with how things have gone so far. As we see the Hanzo Spark skin here, very nice, and yeah, look at that, straight away onto JellyDoodle. And if he's dead, this team is going to struggle to find an avenue into this. Obsidian does find Lime Oros, so Genji won't be contributing anymore to this team fight, but they lose K in the backline. Pretty good fight though, actually, for Crazy Monkey Jellyfish. Okay, just add an animal in there as well. Why definitely, as Assassin here, just being a nightmare to deal with, almost at a pulse bomb. Man, this dude is crazy good. Why is he not playing on a team?
That's a really good question. I think something you have to ask him. But at the end of the day, if you're Aitch, you're not too upset. You get the card in a very good spot now that you win one fight, and they're not going to have the so while all that was happening, by the end of first point, you saw a sniper on the Ana just pushing the payload.
Yeah, exactly. So they kind of are where Crazy Milkyjellyshakes were after their first team fight, though. That is an important kill. Pulse bomb now not going to come out. Limemore is probably going to go down. Yep, does indeed. And a double from Geordie Steals self-destruct there. The second time that's happened this map, and this is how you start to build a comeback.
Yeah, and definitely slowly but surely they're getting back. And obviously, again, you still got to be worried about that Nano Blade, but the longer they take to get it online, yes, we see the Nano, but no Blade yet. That's something that they've been really good. They've punished Limeros quite a lot, not really allowing him to build up that Blade.
Yeah, Obsidian's been pretty good at just making sure he's under pressure the whole time. She's under pressure, sorry. Attack now in the backline here. Assassin JDB going to try and assassinate somebody, gets damaged, but no kills. Jelly does get taken down, though. Crazy did pop the rocket barrage, but didn't find any kills off the back of that. But Obsidian is there to pick up the pieces. 2 players down, Line back in the mix, but he has no Nano at his back, at her back, sorry. At the moment, and PUGs has gone down as well anyways, and Nanoed already, but doesn't need it apparently. You're gonna put the pressure on, gets a double almost now at the Nano Blade, at the Blade. No Nano. Self-destruct comes through, doesn't find anything, but Lime here pretty much able to get this kill with the help of Stalker. Won't even just turn his back. No respect there for the enemy main tank as they look to get rid of this Diva Blade. Still at the ready here. Oh, PUGs taken down there. Jelly gets the Deadeye up and gets that kill. Just waiting on Lime. Here we go. Here comes the Blade. Finds the one target. Second target is already dead. Third target is the Pharah in the sky. Already dead. A bit of a flaccid Blade, but it's not actually Lime Oros's fault. The team is just too good at cleaning up these kills. And Stalker's like, where am I looking? What's going on? It doesn't matter. Because Aitch have secured the 3-0 victory.
A very clean victory. Or maybe this attack on Route 66 wasn't as clean as what we've seen throughout the series, but it always felt like even though they were losing the fights, they still had control. They ults were used to lose, so that they couldn't really win those fights. But then as soon as it got to those ult fights, the Nano and Stalker follow up into the Primal, and then Assassin in the backline, Limeros eventually with that blade just cleaned up, made sure that there was no way that crazy Milkyjellyshakes were going to get a better hold.
Yeah, no, man, it's super difficult for them to find what they were looking for out of that team fight. A short and sweet one, guys. Aitch just too strong here, and that takes them to a 3-0 in their group. Only 4 matches that you play in total, so 1 more win and they will have swept their group. And they are seriously a strong contender to take the whole of the Pride Cup, so I'm excited to see how they progress. And unfortunately, that means crazy Milkyjellyshakes are, I think, confirmed to be out of the tournament now. Will place 5th in Group B. They do have 1 more match, but I don't think they can get 3rd. No, actually, I lie. If they win that match, but I think they still lose out in map differential. So, yeah, I think they're pretty much guaranteed to be out, but we thank them for their participation, and I'm sure they learned a lot from each other, and especially from Jelly. A bunch of new players, but Jelly as the kind of father figure in that team, and hopefully he could kind of impart some of his knowledge on them. But that's going to be that, guys. Before we go, TerranLord, your player of the match for that one, I think it's pretty straightforward.
It's got to be Assassin for me. Straight up. Like, as much as Stalker did, Assassin was just, he was always there. He was clutching every single moment. Every time it looked like crazy Milkyjellyshakes were getting a foothold, Assassin was there with the pick. Assassin was there with the damage, and he just made it impossible for them to play the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely did. And really, it was a 1-2 punch of Stalker and Assassin. But they found a way to deal with Stalker on a couple of team fights. They never found a way to deal with Assassin, and he just had free reign in the sky. So couldn't agree more with you there. I think Broke, an unsung hero there throughout the first and second map, kind of making sure Stalker could play his game very effectively. And anytime your main tank excels, your supports have been got to be doing a good job as well. So I think everyone, this is a pretty well-oiled machine, this Aitch squad. So excited to see if they can take it to some of the top teams from Group A. But that's going to be that, guys. We will be on again at 8 or 7:30? 7:30 or 8? I think it's 8.
I believe it's 8. Yeah. 8.
So we'll be again on at 8 p.m. for our last match, and that one promises to be a banger. As far as I know, it is the current top 2 teams of Group A, so PUGs-esque, and then we'll get our second look at Rainbow Renegades, who we saw take that 3-0 victory against Valkyries in the first map. Are the groups updated? Probably not, because this was quite a short series. Okay, so yeah, still waiting for a couple of results from this round, but we'll fill you in at the beginning of the next round of what the permutations are, but the next match promises to be a banger. So we'll see you guys at 8 o'clock. Yeah.